Inside the Now Morning Show. Today is World Food Safety Day, June 7, 2021, and I'm going to continue the conversation this morning with the CEO of the Cropper Foundation. I'm talking about Mr. Omar Mohammed. Good morning, Mr. Mohammed. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Rokas. I'm great.
All right, thank you for joining us this morning. I understand that you guys are launching a safe food campaign. Now, it's World Food Safety Day, so it makes sense to launch the safe food campaign today. Tell me a bit about the safe food campaign.
All right, so thanks so much. So everyone, happy World Food Safety Day, if you all didn't celebrate it before. And this year's theme is Safe Food Now for a Healthy Tomorrow, which basically says that food safety is an immediate and future issue that we all have to deal with. And I think we're all very conscious of our health these days in particular. So the foundation and our partners have been involved in an IDB-funded project, so that's the Inter-American Development Bank, project for the last couple of years, looking at how we can help improve the food infrastructure and agricultural infrastructure in the country. And part of that is around food safety. And of course, food safety is looking at, how food can sometimes be the transmitter of illness through, microbacterial, chemicals, that sort of thing. So we thought that now it's a good time to launch a campaign to help bring people awareness to the concept of food safety and what they need to look for. So basically, our campaign is called Safe Food, and SAFE is an acronym. SAFE. So we wanted to keep it simple. So we want people to think about safe when they're going to buy their food, whether prepackaged food, whether it's fresh produce to cook. We want them to think safe. So safe for us means sustainable, accountable, factual, eco-friendly.
All right, so that's the acronym, SAFE.
That's the
sustainable,
acronym.
accountable, factual, and eco-friendly. How do I make sure that my food is all of these things at the same time when I'm buying it?
Right. So we want to run it through. Sustainable means, thinking about how your food is produced. So, thinking about, how it's farmed, how it's, transported from the farm to the grocery or the market that you're buying it.
How getting all this information? If I go to the market or I go to the supermarket, how am I getting all of that information to begin with? How do I know where it come from, how it grew, that kind of thing?
Well, that's where the A comes in, which is accountable. Because we want people to understand that they should be accountable in all levels of the supply chain. So the person that you're buying from technically should know where they're getting their inputs from. So it's their response. So you should sort of demand from them that, here, if I'm buying this from you, it's your responsibility to tell me where it's coming from. And then
just hold on, I have questions. Because if it is I go to the market, right? I regularly go to the market. And sometimes some of the vendors in the market aren't farmers themselves, right? But they might get it from the central market, for example.
Right.
And what if that's the answer they give me? Because they didn't ask this man in the central market how we grow the products. They just know it looking good and I could buy it and resell it. What do we do in that situation?
Right. Well, I think that's really what the campaign is meant to do, because we want to almost drive the demand for safe food. Because the idea is that if people don't ask, really, are you going to bother to find out yourself? But if people are tuned into this idea of asking for safe food, after a while, and it's not going to happen overnight, we know that for sure, because that's just how human behavior is. But if the same middleman that you're buying from, if 60% of his customers come in to ask him, well, which part of the country is coming from? He might, and then if you realize that that might impact his sales, then for sure he's going to find out and make himself accountable. So the idea is that we want to push the needle towards the demand side of food safety, because in many cases people do the right thing, but in everyday life, if you don't ask, you're probably not going to volunteer the information.
You're never going to know if you don't ask. I understand that. All right, so tell me about how we're making sure it's factual.
Right. So factual, of course, is reliant on, again, getting the information from the producers, but it's also leaning heavily into, issues of labeling, because, in this country, sometimes, the labeling probably may not be the best. You almost kind of have where it's produced with the name and nothing about nutritional content, nothing about ingredients, that sort of thing. So we want to try to push the demand side of things to get people to start asking these questions from their retailers, from the local brands that they buy. Why don't you have the ingredients that you have in this, the preservatives and whatnot? We want to see that information. And of course, with demand comes the supply, and they would hopefully start changing their practices around that.
And the eco-friendly.
Well, the eco-friendly is basically when it gets to your shelf, we want to be thinking about food safety. So in many cases, while we would prefer for it to not have any, plastic packaging, artificial packaging, whatnot, if you want to reduce, foodborne illnesses, sometimes you have to, put a shield between the environment and the actual product if it's on a shelf.
Right.
But we want to make sure that whatever that shield is, it is as friendly for the planet as possible. And there are now alternatives that you can use to protect your produce if it's on the shelf for a long period of time, but that's not going to damage it when it goes back
right.
as waste.
Now, you're saying that a lot of this is very consumer driven, right? It's based on demand. But when you talk about the eco-friendly part of it and you talk about putting those things in place, would that not raise the cost? Because I realize that when it comes to anything eco-friendly, you're just more expensive.
Well, I think that's really that's kind of hopefully moving more towards the past. I think now things are becoming much more innovative, and packaging, which may have been a premium product. So let's say, cellulose-based packaging, which is plant-based. It acts like plastic, but it degrades, many, many, many times faster in sort of compost conditions. Those things are moving much more closer to traditional costs. So the idea is that, safe food should not be a premium. I don't think we want that. You shouldn't have to be in a certain income class to afford safe food.
Exactly.
Which is what we're also trying to support on the supply side. So, if people demand, we're hoping to work, of course, with our partners, many of whom are in that type of decision-making level, to help, move standards towards eco-packaging. And TTBS, which is a partner who I'll talk about their role in a little bit, we'll be actually talking about a new standard for eco-friendly packaging that they've been working on. So all that sort of plays into the overall campaign to educate the consumer and suppliers.
All right, fantastic. Now, we launching the campaign today. I know that you guys are having 6 webinars over the next 3 months. Tell me a little bit about the webinars and what they hope to achieve.
Right. So the campaign is 3 months long. It's going to be a combination of written articles. That's going to have a ton of information. We're going to have 6 webinars focusing on key issues around safe food. So, one webinar is going to be on pesticides. One webinar is going to be on microbacterial content, packaging. And then we're going to have different agencies, farmers, suppliers being part of these panels to give current up-to-date information to the viewers around the different issues. And then across the social media platforms, we're going to have a ton of new graphics and information, like what you were mentioning earlier, Rokas. Where do you go to get this information? We're hoping to make that available in very digestible snippets of information that will be shared across social media to help boost that knowledge content of the consumer.
All right,
as well, just to add one other thing, we're actually launching today a public awareness video competition that's going to last for the full duration of the campaign, 3 months. We're asking people in the safety of your own home, and we want to be very clear. We don't want them going into a grocery and filming TikTok dances and whatever. Stay home, be safe, film a minute or less video talking about safe food. And it can be any format, and they can stand to win up to 10,000 TT in prizes. And of course, have their work shared across all our partners' social media pages, primarily the Cropper Foundation's page.
All right, and you can also email the videos to safefood@thecropperfoundation.org.
Yes, correctly. But they can go to our Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter, and they can get all of the information around how to enter, as well as how to follow the hashtag, which is SafeFood4TNT. And then they can get access to all of the articles, information about panel discussions, infographics, and whatnot.
And the panel discussions begin from today, yeah?
Yes, so today we're launching. We have with us the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries through Ms. Carla Marcel Boyce. She's an advisor to the Minister and also Deputy Chair of the National Food Safety Committee. We have Dr. Marcus Lip, who is the FAO Senior Food Safety Specialist based in Rome. We have Ms. Diana Francis, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation Agriculture representative for the country, and we'll be having some remarks from the Honorable Minister himself. And that's going to launch off the entire campaign today, and that's at 2 o'clock. and they can register.
Check it out on Facebook as well, right? The information is all up there on Facebook as well. So go check it out, the Cropper Foundation. Omar Mohammed, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing this information and launching the campaign right here on TTT and the Now Morning Show. Of course, guys, today is World Food Safety Day, and you can head across to the Cropper Foundation's Facebook page and the Instagram and everything and check it out and be a part of the competition, because safe food is your business too. We take a quick break and come back with more. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed.